the only part that changes is this part. Okay, so let's move on to the bishop. The bishop just has a bit more code because you have to check in diagonal directions. It's not that much more complicated. And same goes for the queen. But I'm still going to go through it. So again, I have the 4 chained if-else if statements, checks, whatever you want to call them in right now. And because I'm checking diagonals, I have to do 2 checks at once. So I need to check that the row is greater than the row and the column is greater than the column. And that is checking the bishop's top right, upright directions, as we were calling it. And we don't have to make sure that one is equal to the other or one is equal to the negative other, because we know that this bishop is already attacking our king. We just need to know how to stop it. This does mean that the bishop is already in line with our king to attack our king. So we don't need to check for that. Which is why we only need to check for this, for the general direction. We already know the valid moves. So if it's, so this is for the upright direction. This is going to be for the down right direction, I believe. And this is going to be for the what's not going to be up left direction and up. No. It doesn't exactly matter too much. I need to think about it, but you guys can figure it out. The direction doesn't matter all that much. Let's look at the code that comes after it. So once again, we iterate through piece blocking valid moves copy. And similarly to before, if this is true, or the other statement is true, where this statement just checks for whether the piece attacking those valid moves contains the valid move which this potential piece can make, or this piece can potentially make to protect our king. So if this piece can intercept the bishop's attack, then it's a valid move, so it's not removed. But if it can't, then it is removed. So if you imagine that there was a bishop right there, then I would, if there was a bishop right there and my king was there, then I should be able to move a piece into that spot to intercept it. And that is going to be a legal move. But if I tried to move a piece somewhere like there, then that would be removed, so that it wouldn't be a valid move anymore. I do a very similar thing afterwards. Let's maybe go into what my OR does. So I have this or this. So it's also removed if not this and this. So what this does is, again, checks for the direction of my attack or protection. Maybe a visual demonstration would do more good. So does list contain element, and then have or this. So am I looking at the right place? Let me just make sure. Yep, bishop and over here. So does list contain element, piece attacking valid moves, J the valid move. So if this list contains this element, or so not, I have not that or not this. So if this list doesn't contain this element, or if this isn't true, and then after I find out what that is, I do an and this. I have to make sure to put parentheses around this whole thing, as you can probably see there, because and would otherwise be prioritized. I have this because for the reason I explained, to check whether I have any intersections of attacks. But the reason I have this is to make sure that the direction in which I am trying to, in which the bishop is attacking, is the direction which is trying potentially being intercepted. So what I mean by that is, if I remove this, I just closed that down, didn't I? Oh, I minimized it. Okay, good. So if I removed this line, which I have selected right now, what would happen was I would be able to move any piece which to any spot which intersects with the attack of the bishop. So I would be able to move this pawn over here to here. I would be able to move this pawn over here to here, and this knight to here. If I removed all of the similar lines in the other spots as well, obviously. But to avoid that from happening, I check that the attack is in the same direction from which I'm trying to protect myself. And that means that I'm checking to make sure that the piece is moving in the path of the attack where the this bishop is attacking this king with the down right direction. So I'm trying to stop the down right direction from attacking the king. And I'm not trying to stop the down left direction. And that line checks exactly that. And if it doesn't fit, so if even though it intersects with the attack of the bishop, if it doesn't fit the direction in which the bishop is attacking the king from, then it is going to be removed. And then, so that's the OR. And then I also check to make sure that I'm not removing the potential of just killing the piece outright. I do the same thing on the other lines, but as you can see, with the signs switched up a bit. So that's the bishop. We've covered the rook. The same thing is why I have this part over here as well. For the rook, I don't think I explained that well, but it's the same reason. And then the queen is just a hybrid of both of them. So what you do is just copy all of this code, paste it into the queen, then copy the bishop's code, paste it into the queen, instead of keeping the just if from the bishop, you put an else in front of the if. And then for the rook part of the queen, you have to make sure that you also check that over here their columns are the same. Their columns are the same over here, and then their rows are the same over here. For a similar reason as we have done in previous lessons, to make sure that we are not also interfering with the bishop direction. And so once you have done that, and let me minimize it because it's really long code, we are done. I do still have this in a comment. You probably noticed it last video. I think that's what I was using. I decided against using this. It would probably work, but I decided against using it to change cam block, because pieces attacking.count can be greater than 1, and I didn't exactly want to deal with that. Because this doesn't depend on the length of the list. However, this does. There we go. That's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to go into too much detail there. And now, our chess program works quite closely. We only have one thing left to do, and that is the following. Let me just demonstrate really quickly. I'm going to be using the rook once again, and there we go. White's turn. Ooh, I can move my pawn there. Oh, I'm dead. That's the only thing we have left to fix in our chess program. We shouldn't be allowed to move a piece that's going to put us into check in this kind of a scenario. And if we can manage that, then I think that our chess game is finished. Which means after that we can just spend a bit more time of working on the graphical interface, So having like a menu, a startup menu. I also do want to make sure that the player knows who has won once a player has entered into checkmate, and so on. I might read into some other chess rules. I found out that at the end game, if you make like 50 moves, it's a stalemate or something. I might implement that. I don't really see that big of a reason why not to or why to implement it, but tell me what you guys want me to implement into this game as well. I might also implement online play capability. I'm not too sure, but we will see about that. So this is either going to be one long video or split up into at least 3 sections. I think that that's probably what's going to happen with this video. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you did, then please give me a like, share and subscribe. Tell me what you liked about this video. Tell me what you didn't like about this video, how I can improve for next time. Until that next time, thanks so much for watching. Again, if you have any questions, do feel free to ask in the comments down below. Until next time, thanks so much for watching and goodbye.